All right, hello everyone, and welcome back after a long pause to the Northern Arena Beat Invitational presented by Bell Main Qualifier Playoffs Loser Bracket Game Number 3 between PaiN Gaming and the Wild Witch Doctors. I'm Android, being joined once again by Cap. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It looks like Wild Witch Doctors are not going to get Undying. Eagle messaged me after that game too. He's like, Undying team only here. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do now when they don't have that hero. But what they do get is a first pick Wisp. And what's I believe somebody drafted this. Maybe it was OG, maybe it was EG. I think it was EG. I think they drafted this. As a first pick. And I'm not sure if I'm like a huge fan of this. Oftentimes the what's going to happen as a result in the 1-2 is going to be like Shadow Demon Kunkka, or it's going to be like OD Omni or something like that. And I feel like whatever Wisp combination you have isn't going to be nearly as good. But I don't know. We'll see. For example, right? Think of if they picked up Kunkka first pick, and then PaiN have to open with like say Shadow Demon OD or Shadow Demon Draw Ranger or something like that. Like I would at least feel comfortable going, all right, Kunkka's like a good team fight hero. If they run a Draw Ranger strat, he's good against that because he's good against like picking off heroes when they retreat. He's good at being able to provide damage reduction. Same goes against like OD. He's a combo hero. I feel like Wisp doesn't offer as many opportunities, but I guess it's how confident you feel with a Wisp strategy, and we know Wild Witch Doctors are quite good with it. Jubei run like the 4-position Wisp where he runs into the offlane. I wouldn't be surprised if Wild Witch Doctors picked up, Axe is banned away, but what's another like full-time jungle, like Beastmaster or something, right? And Mike just full-time jungles with Beastmaster and an Iron Talon, and then they give Jubei that offlane. Like they've done in several iterations of games for Wild Witch Doctors.
Yeah, I mean, it's all down to this. The loser of this game is going home. They are out of the tournament, not going to the LAN finals. So there's a lot on the line. You kind of got to go with that strategy that you feel comfortable with, that you know you can execute. Game number 1, PaiN had some of the strongest lanes I've seen and shut down Witch Doctor's late game lineup. Game number 2, Witch Doctors just walked on PaiN. It's like they were a whole new team. So Game 3 could really go either way. So far, I like the Kunkka Shadow Demon combo. I mean, it's been successful in so many games this meta, but like you mentioned, the Witch Doctors feel really comfortable with that IO. We talked about potential synergies a little bit. How are things going to play out with the Void now in the picture?
Let's see. Void's in a better position than he was in the previous games because he doesn't have to match up against Razor just yet anyway. We'll see if PaiN still pick that one up in the 3-4 area. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Wild Witch Doctors banned it away. They banned the Morphling, who I think matches pretty well with Shadow Demon lineups because the focus single target damage when you have something like Soul Catcher on a hero just means that shotgun is even more effective. You want to be able to ban away some common Wisp pairings, and it seems like they're still afraid of the offlane Abaddon, but what the band that makes more sense to me, I think, is the Huskar. I think that hero.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta get him out of the picture when there's no Oracle. Just
Yeah, the enemy team picks up a healer. It's like this flowchart, you know. And does enemy team have healer in first 1-2? If so, yes, then ban Huskar in the 3-4. Like it's just repeated over and over and over again by almost everybody.
Yeah, I mean, what do PaiN look to put as their carry here? We've seen, the Luna, we've seen PL, we've seen other illusion-based heroes benefit from Shadow Demon Kunkka combinations. What's the play?
I don't think you worry too much about the illusion basis just yet. If they want to go for, I think Terrorblade is a nice pushing hero that it does go well with Shadow Demon because the illusion spam, but I think it's better in the fact that it's a 5-man, usually a 5-man lineup that pushes into Wild Witch Doctors, and they're already somewhat timing based. They're already a little bit Wisp is only really effective in team fights when you have relocate. It's not even necessarily effective in full 5-man team fights. It's more effective at split pushing and picking off. And Faceless Void only fights around Chronosphere. So I think so far PaiN are well set up, but Annie, I think you're pretty happy there. Jesus.
I really do enjoy Skyrath Mage. Just in general, his existence makes me happy. But assuming this is going to be a position 5 Skyrath? Mid Skyrath, yay or nay for Witch Doctors?
And it's possible, but I prefer to support here.
Yeah, it just doesn't do a whole lot past like 15-20 minutes, especially with Terrorblade, a hero that already likes to build BKB, similar story with the Bat.
You also don't know what the mid matchup is yet. And I think Skyrath Mage mid is only really picked up when you know what your matchup already is. So I think they're banking on this being a support for now. It's really strong versus Terrorblade, potentially, because you could burst him down real quick. Obviously, there's some synergy with the Faceless Void. They still have this Shadow Demon problem to deal with, and this is why Shadow Demon's such a good hero. He counters the Faceless Void, Chronosphere, and whatever combination they have there, because presumably Shadow Demon's just going to disrupt whoever gets targeted. They've got PaiN Gaming. Whenever you run a push lineup, Draw Ranger, Luna, Terrorblade, a offlane hero that is able to set the tempo of the game via picking people off is always a really powerful synergy, because it allows you to be able to push into a tower and also always get the initiation for that tower push. So I think this is so far really great for PaiN. I love their draft. While the Witch Doctors still is a bit iffy to me. Skyrath Mage doesn't accomplish as much.
You take that back. He's a precious flower.
Listen, Annie, are you like a big like romance novel buff, or do you really just like love like really sad, like Notebook style romantic movies?
Yeah,
what's going on here?
I've been known to sit there with a box of tissues, just grind out a couple of the romance genre on Netflix, feel good about myself.
So is that why Skyrath Mage is a handsome guy who has some like tearful romantic backstory? Is that why you like him so much?
No, I'm actually just really into chicken feet.
All right, that got real weird real fast. Moving on.
That's going to get soundbited and haunt me till I die. Either way, last picks coming out. PaiN Gaming looks like they still need a core. I mean, they've got the Terrorblade to push. They've got the Batrider, assuming is going to be off lane. So who's going up that mid lane for PaiN Gaming?
Well, they know it's likely to be matched up against the Faceless Void for now. I think Wild Witch Doctors are probably going to do the same sort of lineup they had last time. Offlane Slardar against the Shadow Demon Kunkka Terrorblade. They don't have the same kind of dual lane presence as they did last time. Skyrath Mage can't save the Slardar if he gets initiated on. All he does is provide offensive power, but he's also a hero that can't be on the front line like the Undying can. So I'm not exactly sure how they're going to work this. Because I thought they were just gonna, like I said last time, abandon the off lane, pick some sort of jungler, have the Wisco there. Oh, it is a mid Skyrath Mage.
It is the Lishrak.
Congrats, Annie. I'm pretty sure this is a 4 position Lishrak.
I hate to go full bias caster mode, but I just gotta see my boy Skyrath do well here. But we do have the Lishrak pickup. You talked about Witch Doctors picking that up in series number 1, their potential there, and it is a hero with a taunt, so Eagle's going to be happy. Now, PaiN Gaming end things out with an off-lane Omni Knight. Do the analysis.
I think it's great. I think it counters, like, you already have the Shadow Demon to be able to counter some of the initiation and slow that down from Wild Witch Doctors. Now you have the Omni Knight, whose Repel is going to be a potentially hard counter against the Skyrath Mage, as well as the Leshrac is able to provide. There's no Diffusal Blade. Like no obvious Diffusal Blade pickups that are going to be early. Faceless Void will have to go Diffusal Blade in this game, but it's not going to be as fast as, say, when you have like a Juggernaut pick it up, for example. So his farm, his progression is going to be really important, because he is the only way they have to be able to counter Omni Knight. And then the other thing that's going to be really important is going to be 40R's progression as a Batrider mid, and how he's able to, how early he's able to pick up the Blink Dagger and start picking people off, because they have really good opportunity to establish tempo via the pushing lineup that they have with this great tri-lane at top. They should be able to take down that tower early, get some quick gold for the Batrider, and then from there start moving around the map, furthering their tier 1 dominance and pick-off potential via the Bat. So I think those are the two heroes you really have to look at. The third one obviously being Skywrath Mage's WWD, playing that as the mid laner against Bat. I imagine that goes well for the Skywrath Mage, just because that's like Skywrath Mage. If you don't win mid, you're probably screwed.
Yeah, I mean, what's the timing going to be like for Witch Doctors? Because Skywrath can't do crap up against BKBs. Skywrath Mage is going to be, less tanky than a creep when it comes to Terrorblade, Metamorphosis form, pushing in. Can Witch Doctors afford to take this much later than 30 minutes?
Yeah, they can. But their timings are going to be, you are right, the mid game I think is very dominant from PaiN. So the two timings are going to be when while the Witch Doctors have a Blink Dagger on Slardar, and they start going around, they have this great initiating tool that then they could be the ones jumping into rather than being initiated on by the Batrider. And then their other timing is going to be later on when the lineup of PaiN is so dependent on a solo carry Terrorblade that they're not as effective anymore. So anytime that Chronosphere just completely blows up the Terrorblade inside of that one, or you even just kill the back line, you kill the supports and get the initiation there. So 45, 50 minutes, I think Wild Witch Doctors actually take up the game again, potentially, and win that one out.
So Eagle getting his jam on here as offlane Omni just goes and bops him on the head a couple of times. He's level 1, hasn't even picked up the degen aura, and he's already feeling comfortable just walking up and smacking these heroes. I mean, offlane Omni is, I want to say it's a relatively new phenomenon, him being played in that, I'm just going to run at you kind of position, but it is quite successful when I've seen it.
Yeah, this is a hero that has had some solo core presence on and off going all the way back to Dota 1, but it's never been in vogue like it is right now. I would say I think Omni-Knight is in quite the happy place and maybe even a little overpowered, as much as Sir Action Slacks may deny it. That hero can single-handedly win you games based off of his synergy with other really strong heroes in the meta right now, like OD, for example, like Terrorblade, I think is pretty good when he has the right team comps around it. What Wild Witch Doctors need to do is the idea of create a lot of chaos and move around, just like they did at game number 2, actually. Move around a lot with their supports, play the kind of aggressive in-your-face style where you get a kill at bottom, then you rotate top, you do it. Just kind of keep PaiN off kilter.
There's going to be the IO coming in, so unfortunately the Skywrath Mage looks to man up, tosses out the Arcane Bolt, but the Fairy Fire not going to be enough to keep the Batrider up. It is going to be first blood going the way of my boy Skywrath Mage now.
And second blood.
Yeah, he's going to pick up another one as well. Double kill now for the Flappy Bird mid lane. He's got himself 600 golds on top of his starting items. Very, very nice. Now this roaming IO, a lot of people have questions about. It's kind of unusual. Usually the IO is picked up to have a dedicated partner, but this 4 position, I mean, it's something Jubei feels comfortable with, but it's definitely coming in handy for these very squishy, very regen-reliant heroes like the Skywrath.
Yeah, he just comes in, he's already missing some HP and mana, he just immediately starts bottling you up as the mid laner. It's like you're running a bottle without having to buy it. That's so absurd.
He is position 4 bottle. That is his current position on the team.
Yeah, and he still jungles really efficiently. He's level 4 by 3 minutes, obviously boosted by the fact that he gets 2 kills in mid lane, but he would probably still be 3 by 3, which is pretty good for any jungler. So they're in a pretty happy position. Boris takes a little bit of damage, but he's just trying to pressure Tavo as much as possible and keep the lane equilibrium in their favor while Eagle's doing the pulling, but it doesn't look like he's going to connect his pull, unfortunately. So
yeah, it's not going all the way in. Now, up top, we are going to have Mike in a little bit of trouble. Don't know if he can sprint his way out of this one. There's going to be the stacks of poison coming in. Mike hits the deck, but not before Omni-Knight gets a kill on the Leshrac. Tavo punishes him for not getting that pull by taking his life. Now, meanwhile, mid lane, Batrider with the stacks and Neopov in the fire was able to take out the Skyrath, but it's going to cost him a salve. We've got blood all 3 lanes virtually the same time. Tavo now running into some mana problems, which is one of Omni's big weaknesses in that early game. Hasn't picked up the Soul Ring. Is he going to go for straight arcanes, or will he buy the Soul Ring out eventually?
Their lineup would like arcanes. They already have one out of Kunkka, maybe a second one, most likely, out of the Shadow Demon. It wouldn't be bad to have it, but I think the laning presence, it's better when you get Soul Ring on Omni. We'll see. It's kind of based on how he feels and how the lane is going. For example, he just got a kill on Eagle, who's about to get a kill on the Shadow Demon, or, well, they're going to get the kill, but
oh, hopefully, dude,
could have
the
been a little
ball's
bit
not going to be enough. He goes for the Disrupt. Wisp finally gets his revenge. That was a full duration Spirits that got that Shadow Demon down so low. He had his fun with it, though. So overall kill score now 3-3. It's tied up. But in terms of net worth here, we've got the Skyrath Mage still sitting on top. I worry that the Terrorblade is getting a little bit too much space.
They don't really have the lineup to pressure Terrorblade, to be honest. When you running into a Shadow Demon Kunkka duo support, it's always going to be a hard lane to beat because they have this like wonderful synergy where they get this guaranteed stun on you and really good single target focus. So unless you have a full active aggro Trine lane, like a Luna aggro Trine lane, you can't really contest that lane very easily. So it's not surprising that Terrorblade's getting total free farm. What they will have to do to mitigate the free farm is be able to rotate Boris up to that top lane when he's got Chronosphere, which is now, and when Skyrath Mage has Mystic Flare. I think they should try and actually push out their lanes and maybe rotate up to top fairly quickly. Just because you do want to have that pressure. Like, it's a single core Terrorblade. There's no, like, everyone else on PaiN is meant to back up that Terrorblade in some fashion, but he is the only carry in this game. So if you can shut him down, even in the laning phase, and slow his progression, which gives you more opportunities to be able to fight him when they go for tower pushes around 15 to 20 minutes, these things just open up based on your laning phase.
Man, Monk having to constantly deal with that pesky Omni. Now, where does Omni start having an impact? Clearly, he's gotten a lot of farm for himself. He's gotten his items. He's gotten his levels. What's his role now for his team, besides just eating a Chronosphere?
I think he doesn't really come into play. Oh, that's an unfortunate patch.
Is he actually?
Does he?
No.
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 Dude, all right, Bart's gonna get him with the time block. But...
yeah, okay. That would have been just a little bit too much. I think PaiN would have been dancing on their graves.
Ooh, mid. WWD is dead. Another big pickup for 40R against the Skyrath Mage.
Rest in peace, buddy. No. Up top, we are going to have IX Mike just try to man up against the Terrorblade, but he's Metamorphosed up. There's not a whole lot you want to be doing up against him, especially in this really vulnerable early window where Mike doesn't have a Blink Dagger. He's actually going to get wrapped around upon by more members of PaiN. This could be pretty bad. He's saved up a decent amount of gold. Again, needs to be working towards that blink now. He's going to be walking his way into the trees. He's just gobbling his way through. He goes for the crush. They should be able to latch something onto the Batrider. Batrider does have the last of it. It's going to be silenced up right now. Courtesy of the Skyrath's Ancient Seal. Do it, Skybay! Do it! They're going to be getting the Batrider in through the corner of the trees. He's burning his way through, but I think it's just buying himself time. Wisp relocate ends. He goes back to just getting what he needs to back in the base, and it's going to be a decent amount of kills going the way of Witch Doctors.
Yeah, I think Mike read the situation pretty well. They had relocate up. It was like not a very it wasn't the most obvious bait in the world, but he should know that okay, Batrider just dove past the tier 1 tower. He's probably he hasn't shown up mid yet. He's still in my secret shop area, and yet he was still happy with pushing that far forward in this lane. It's because he knew he had the backup of a relocate with a Skyrath Mage, and they didn't have Metamorphosis. That's the perfect timing to fight into a Terrorblade lane. When Terrorblade is ineffective because he doesn't have Metamorphosis. So now it's PaiN, they have died, they've been picked up. Now it's their turn to set up the rotations that could catch up all the Witch Doctors, but they're doing something really smart here. They're playing pretty passive. I think Boris has a good read on the dangers of sitting in your safe lane too long and playing aggressive into it. He's got to wait until people start showing up at top or mid, and so far nobody has, so he continues to play passive and behind his tower. Eagle might take the gank, but even then, it looks like he'd have to dive too deep to get that kill.
I don't think Eagle's that scared Monk. I mean, he's thinking about that Chronosphere. The rest of Witch Doctors are wrapping around, and Yeah, it's spooky to initiate onto a Terror Blade, but you gotta try something here. He's just gonna be going in, hoping for a lucky bash, taking a couple strikes there as the Metamorphosis rocks out. Now Skywrath Mage is going in. He's got that follow-up there. There's gonna be the Mystic Flare. They're trying to get some sort of cleanup going, and there is going to be the stun latching from the Leshrac. They're looking to go into Tavo here. There is going to be no Guardian Angel leveled up. He can't stop the damage. He's just going to sit there, try to heal it off, but will eventually hit the deck. Torrent comes up, trapping Eagle, but the rest of Witch Doctors are still alive. They're still fighting, and goodbye Shadow Demon. Moving forward here, Mike. He's still slithering. He's got that crush, and they're going to be moving forward. He's got the regen of Jubei as well. Torrent not latching. The TP out from 40R spells the end of the engage, but really well played there for Witch Doctors. And part of that was PaiN just overstaying their welcome.
Yeah, PaiN, what their lineup looks is, it's a lineup that is like this kind of all-in push lineup, essentially, because they have this single core Terror Blade and everything else is backing them up. But what you realize now is that they don't actually have the guaranteed save. Despite having an Omni and a Shadow Demon, having, for example, an Oracle would make a world of difference there, because you would have the guaranteed save that no matter what, there's no way Terrorblade could die, and he would be able to get off his Sunder. But unfortunately, in this scenario, like Chronosphere leading into a Slithering Crush immediately following, like those, like they can't actually provide enough to be able to save him from that. And Terrorblade dying even once, and having PaiN rebuffed from one of these tower pushes sets them back so much when it comes to like what are their chances of being able to win this game. It becomes significantly lower when they lose a tower push like that.
I mean, right now, Witch Doctors are feeling super, super comfortable because they know the Terror Blade's not going to be fighting, doesn't have the Metamorphosis backup. I mean, they're not scared of the damage being put out by an Omni or a Bat, and looks like they're actually looking to go aggressive. They pick off the Omni easily using that Skywrath Ancient Seal. Now the Disruption comes out, but unfortunately that means that the Shadow Demon has nothing else to save himself. They go for the drag. Mike is going to get tied up in this, and it looks like they will end up losing the Skywrath to the fire damage. They lose the Leshrac as Terror Blade spawns up, so maybe it's Witch Doctors now that overstay their welcome. Mike, you can tell he's thinking about going back in, lands the crush. Will the bashes be successful? He's standing in the fire, he's burning down. Now the negative urn, will it be enough? Batrider hoping to scrape out of this. The Whisper relocate comes in, and the right clicks will do it. There we go. Balls securing a kill now for Jubei on the Wisp, and he's just going to style his way out of this one, tethering back to his allies and just having some fun with it. So in the end, trading that Leshrac for the Batrider is a nice way to end out the fight for Witch Doctors.
Yeah, absolutely. The only reason that fight could have been salvageable by PaiN was the fact that they had Invis on Batrider, and he was able to initiate like right in their face without actually having a blink for himself. He was able to just jump straight onto Mike and be able to get some really good Firefly damage, but then they overextend themselves. They try and go for too much, especially when, again, Metamorphosis was down and Terrorblade couldn't really back you up in that fight. Now they've got a Sword Arm. They've given themselves the opening to be able to take Roshan, to sneak that one in when PaiN don't even realize, and even if they did, I'm not sure they can actually take the engagement. Maybe with the Blink Dagger, they get a decent initiation. If Lasso is up, but it's not even up. So, free Aegis, this is rapidly gone from like a game where PaiN had, oh man, they're just gonna straight up fight.
I mean, they can absolutely go for it. Mike is slithering forward. They've got that second life on the Skywrath, which means full health, full mana when he comes back. Now Taivo, he's doing everything he can to keep himself up, but the Omni, level 8, still has not skilled ult. He's trying to play that solo YOLO game, but it's going to catch up with him in the worst way. Now Terrorblade is going to be stuck there. There will be the disrupt from the Shadow Demon. Not going to get anything out of the Mystic Flare on the back line. Skywrath is going to be able to deal with some damage sprayed at him, but Wisp should be there to take care of everything else. The Lasso has already been committed from the bat. It's just looking ugly. Now Leshrac showing off that Pulse Nova. Double kill for him. Moving forward now onto King RD, who's going to start up that Torrent. It will catch out Mike. Slardar could be in a little bit of trouble, but moving forward, he doesn't even have himself the armlet. Just being healed up. The raw regen from the Wisp means this is almost a complete white. Batrider barely makes it back to base. Arcane Bolt chasing him all the way. Witch Doctors are looking like they're having a phenomenal mid-game, and it's only 13 minutes in.
Yeah, I would say, like, this has gone from, like, 40% chance for PaiN to be able to win this to, like, now being, like, almost 5%. Because single-core lineups are very fragile, and they cannot afford any setbacks. And what Wild Witch Doctors did is They came online pretty quickly with some of their heroes. They rotated really efficiently. I think they put pressure really well on PaiN, and now it's only now that they pick up the Blink Dagger on Slaughter, and that's one of like the big ticket items for Wild Witch Doctors to have, to be able to put a lot of PaiN into PaiN gaming, and they already have dominated the game. Now they should only be able to put more fear into PaiN to be able to dominate more of the map, get more of these objectives, and PaiN are just going to fall further and further behind, and it's only Terrorblade who can probably keep up with the 3 cores of Wild Witch Doctors. Everyone else is going to suffer and farm.
Can we talk about Wisp being 3rd on the net worth chart for the entire game?
I mean, Jubei hasn't died yet. That's like, as a Wisp, that's pretty impressive. And it does go to show some of the lack of offensive power from PaiN. The lack of, like, there's never been a Batrider pick-off. I can't actually think of a time where he's gone in with the Blink Dagger and has been able to initiate a fight or a pick-off for them. And most of the time that's going to be on the Wisp, right? Because otherwise he's going to relocate the ally out.
Moment of truth here. We've got a big fight coming out for PaiN. They know it's now or never. They've got to get some pickups. Radiant uses Scan, and Dire walk right into it. Their plan is foiled. Can they get the jump, though? Mike, he blinks back. Nice reaction from him. And it looks like Skyrath could be in a little trouble still as the Aegis to start things off by going in. Disruption is going to be used. They're buying some time. Terrorblade is going to come back out of that, doing some damage. Pops the Aegis. Now there's going to be a drag out. Mike looks like he could be hitting the deck next. Goes for that YOLO crush, but it's not going to be working now. Skyrath tries to force himself out of this. He's going and he pops the Ancient Seal, but he doesn't have an ulti. The Wisp comes in trying to help him out. The Chronosphere connects onto 4. Oh, that was good for Witch Doctors. That was just about the best chrono they could possibly ask for. Now they're focusing down the Terrorblade, and he goes out. He's got no buyback. Batrider, once again, the only survivor. That fight should have gone so poorly for Witch Doctors, but their reaction and the follow-up from Boris, holy hell. It's looking good.
Bad time for PaiN. I don't think you come back from this anymore. Because now Boris has
Did you like move far away from your mic? You're super soft.
I'm sorry. Now they have diffusal blades on Faceless Void. So how do you now have the counter to the Omni Knight in your arsenal, and you're only going to get stronger from here, while Terrorblade still does not have any real progression items. 40 hours going to get picked off again.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do either. It's just PaiN are desperately grasping at some sort of advantage, but you mentioned it, these 1-core lineups are so fragile, and now Terrorblade's been picked off 3 times. They're going to bring the Wisp back in. He will get dragged back through. I think they lose their Wisp here, but the disruption actually ends up saving his life, as the X will be cancelled, so a little bit of miscommunication there. Costs PaiN an easy kill on the Wisp. Now they're moving forward here. Mike, he's just manning up here, going onto the Terrorblade. It's going to be a little bit tricky. There is not going to be the Leshrac Split Earth that connects, but Mike is still up. He's still fighting. They're able to clean up these Terrorblade illusions. There will be a drag back onto the Wisp, but this could actually be a good thing for Witch Doctors. When they reinitiate here, they go for the drag. They may lose their Skyrath. He's going to be healing up the best he can, and they've got the Bat just roaming around trying to find something, and oh god, the Mystic Flare connects along with the bash from Boris. That was perfectly timed. And now Boris, he's moving forward. He's ready to end it all here. 20 seconds left on the Chronosphere. And honestly, Witch Doctors can just keep up the pressure until that's back up. They land the Split Earth. They get the Kunkka down. There's just nothing left in the tank for PaiN. They're sitting back on their high ground, waiting for something. But Terrorblade feels safe even just leaving his base at 17 minutes in.
And that tier 2 is 100% down. They've gone from a like, this is just a clean build up all the way to 12,000, soon going to be like 15, 18k net worth lead for Wild Witch Doctors. They're controlling the map. They still have more objectives to take. There's going to be Roshan number 2 in a few minutes. I don't think PaiN have a way to come back, and even if they did, they don't have the space to be able to do it. Like, even if they did have some items that they could farm up to turn this game around, they don't have the space to be able to do so, because Wild Witch Doctors are going to be able to hem them in to their base more and more as time goes on.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at heroes from Witch Doctors like this Slardar, like the Faceless Void, that theoretically shouldn't be this online at 18 minutes in, but I mean, everyone's feeling really, really comfortable. If you look at the net worth chart, Terrorblade's really the only one from PaiN Gaming hanging on to the top half of the board, and he's the only one that can do anything. If Terrorblade's locked down and taken out of these fights, there's just no more damage coming out. Yeah, Bat Fire hurts a little bit, but with this IO that's still holding on to a very, very large sum of money, and now a mechanism as well, It's so hard to kill anyone here. Fragile heroes like the Skyrath seem immortal.
Hard 5 has a BKB very soon for Wild Witch Doctors. That should tell you everything you need to know about the game. That almost at 20 minutes, a BKB is on the Hard 5 Leshrac. Like, how could you possibly beat that? Like, while Leshrac has become a core, Wisp has basically become a core with the way he's able to be, like, really in your face in a style that Wisp normally should not be able to. But he can be, because he's not afraid of the damage of PaiN. They're so far behind.
I mean, Witch Doctors, they're feeling super, super comfortable. Well, all of PaiN is up. All of PaiN is pretty much off the map. Only Batrider shows himself. They're still feeling comfortable pushing into tier 2s. They easily melt it down. They don't really waste any big spells looking for more, and they're just going to rotate into the bottom lane, take out another tower. I mean, if PaiN were to mount one phenomenal team fight, what does it look like?
Okay, it's going to start with Boris jumping in, and he misses his Chronosphere entirely. Then he gets hit by an X marks the spot and gets comboed down with the Terrorblade beating on him during torrent timing, and Metamorphosis is unable to get off anything from there. At the same time, the Batrider jumps in and grabs Skyrath Mage, pulls him back in, and as the Faceless Void dies, all of a sudden Skyrath Mage is right there, pulled back in by the Batrider lasso, and then Terrorblade beats him to a pulp as well. And then they just kind of like chase some heroes down as best they can from there. That's literally, I think, the only way they can win a fight is Wild Witch Doctors full on missing their initiation when they go high ground.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's down to the Witch Doctors to throw something fierce. They've got, a 16, 17,000 net worth lead, and that's showing up, like you mentioned, in these position 4, position 5 heroes having carry items. I mean, you've got a BKB on the Leshrac before you have Terrorblade's BKB done. Yeah, he's got his Manta, but putting more illusions in the fight doesn't necessarily stop the problem of Witch Doctors just destroying you one by one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, Wild Witch Doctors don't... They're not a team that ever needed to be in a position where they're trying to, like, break high ground. They should have been the ones trying to defend high ground up against PaiN, but
they go forward. The lasso connects onto the Wisp, so trying to take out the ambulance first. They get a really nice torrent followed up by a phenomenal ghost ship, but unfortunately the 4 stabs out the BKBs. They're showing up with the GOT. Nice chrono once again by Boris. Locks down 2. 3 heroes dead. The GG is called. And this one's got significance now. PaiN Gaming are out of the tournament. Unfortunately, this is the end of their run in the Northern Arena Beat Invitational, but it does mean that Wild Witch Doctors get another chance here moving forward in the losers bracket.
Yeah, PaiN, I think they made it farther than I expected them to. At least the fact that they beat out, who was it, Not Today, I think they did, and managed to move on here to face up against Wild Witch Doctors. That was a surprise to me.
Yeah, they 2-0'd Not
honestly.
Today.
Yeah, and then they took a game off of Wild Witch Doctors. I would argue a lot of it came down to the draft of Wild Witch Doctors. I think it was way too greedy and was too easily punished by PaiN. But still, it was the fact that they took that game was a good showing from them nonetheless. But it does go to show that Wild Witch Doctors were definitely the better team. I think that Game 2 draft was relatively even. And I think Game 3 draft, especially like 5 minutes in, you start looking at it, I think... Wild Witch Doctors had a pretty good outdraft on PaiN. Single core lineups just don't work right now. We haven't seen. I can't recall the last time that I looked at the lineup and I was like, oh man, that's a single core. Like they're only depending on one real carry to be able to win the game for them. Well, even Draw Ranger strats like are oftentimes seeing like Dusa mid or something like that, or even some sort of scaling offlaner. But here, PaiN tried to do a single core Terrorblade, and I don't think that's ever going to work out for you. So I feel like that's an outdraft from Wild Witch Doctors in Game 3, and it was the most dominant game of all, I think.
I mean, it just shows that this team is capable of phenomenal communication, but the individual skill is just completely on par right there. These guys know what they're capable of. They know what their heroes are capable of, and best of luck to them further on in the tournament. And this is going to be, Cap, your last cast of the night, but... never fear, we are not done here with the Moonduck coverage. Up next, we have FDL versus Doo-Wop, another elimination series, and that's going to be me, Android, and Motpax casting that one up in just a couple of minutes. So again, Cap, thank you so much for your guest appearance once again here, and I hope you have a great night.
Thanks, you too. Enjoy the second series. Unfortunately, I have some stuff to do before I go to TwitchCon.
But... yeah, real life stuff.
Yeah. I will definitely be watching the cast at least for the first game. So hope you guys
Have fun with it.
All right, so everyone sit tight. Next series coming up in just a few minutes.